said, we'll get into it. And I have, just for a quick update before we get into the actual talk, but I have reached out to an artist and they've taken my AI stuff and I've said, use this and, this body design and then this like clothing design, but then this logo from this other one, right? Mishmash it all together and come back and see what we got, right? So steps are being taken to finalize the character design so then we can go ahead and work on the comic, right? Because the story's, I want to say like 60% written.
Oh.
So I just got to script it out. All right. How much would you pay for a comic book I wrote? 204 votes. Wow. People are really interested in this topic here. 87 comments. Good Lord. I don't know if I should be excited by all this.
You should be nervous.
Scared. Yeah, nervous and scared. Like, shit, now I got to deliver a good product, right? But the options were 5, 10, 15, 20, or other. $5 has won with 44%. Other has 20%. We're going to read the comments. $10 has 15%. $15 has 12%, and only 10% of them, 20 votes, thereabouts, said $20. So let's get to the 87 comments. Jesus, you guys are maniacs.
Jesus Cristo.
1 Inch Bicep says $20, but it's got to be about the Amico. My sketchbook says if it's well written and has a healthy page count, then the standard book to page count is a good formula. Like 25 pages of a story, $5 USD. So, though, and listen up, Tony, if it is readable, rereadable, both cause of sequential art, setup, and story, then the standard is out the window and the book is gold. So the standard doesn't apply. Think what you would like to reread or see some more of. Then, if done right, the price will fall in line. In my opinion, but 20 USD for between 75 and up pages of stories is good. It's going to be a 28-page book. Okay, it's going to be a standard floppy. Obviously, no ads. The plan is, again, I want to make it old school, actual, real old school style comic where even though there's an overarching story, right, you could essentially pick up any issue and not be lost, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be episodic. It's going to be, I say monster of the week formula. So if you understand that, right? So it's going to be like, oh, here's a villain. Oh, he fights the villain. Shit happens. Next issue fights a villain. Like an old school comic, like an old school Fantastic Four comic, right? Where every week they're fighting a new villain. It's their most powerful villain yet. Oh, and then certain villains would obviously come back and be second and third appearances down the line somewhere, right? But essentially, like I said, it'd just be the story of a superhero doing superheroics.
That way, you don't feel like you have to avoid this comic series if you haven't picked up the first one or the second episode.
Yeah. And eventually, right, there will be, like I said, I want to do it digital. I want to keep costs low. I want accessibility high, cost low. That's the sweet spot for me, I think. Because again, I'm obviously untested. I don't know if people would, even if I deliver, even if the first one came out and it was fantastic and you guys were like, fuck, it blew my balls off, right? I still don't think people would be necessarily of the mindset that I'd be able to blow your balls off every single time, right? I don't have, so even if the first one's great, like you still would be like, well, maybe the second one's not going to be good, right?
I don't know. I think you can blow some balls.
Good. But so I'm going to keep the accessibility high, cost low. So I think it'll be like a pre-order campaign for physical, and then like the goal will be whatever to break even, right? If I get more, obviously that's great. But as long as we hit the break even, make the physicals, send them out, and then release the digital for everyone to read, right? Yeah. because again, I want people to read it. Like that's the point of it, is for people to read the story, right?
Yeah.
And then hopefully, like if they read one for free, they'll be like, hey, you know what? This is actually interesting. I'll pick up two, a physical of two, and I'll actually contribute to the campaign this time.
Yeah.
And if they read 2 and 3, then boom, boom. Like we'll build it like that organically. That's the plan. I don't know if this is a viable option, if it's going to work. If people are like, that's fucking retarded, don't do that, Tony.
Make your money now with the first 2.
Yeah. You don't need to deliver a good product. I think I do like at least a good, right? If it's a shit product, like I don't think people are going to stick around. So it has to be at least good, not necessarily great, but at least good, right? You just need to take criticism like a man. I can take criticism, no problem. Like Batman the Animated Series, yes, exactly like that, right? Like there is some carryover and there's some plot line through, but most of it is just you could watch any episode in almost any order and it'll still make sense. Will you ask EVS for a special cover if he's down for it? I might. Again, it would all depend on cost, and I'm very big on return on investment, right? Like if paying EVS to do a cover nets me 5 extra people, I don't think it's a good return on investment, right? As nice as it would be to be like, oh, EVS did a cover for me, right? I'd rather keep the cost low and have more people read it or more people buy it than to be able to be like, oh, EVS did a cover for me, guys, right? Like that would be fantastic. It'd be awesome, right? But I'm not looking for accolade. I'm not doing it for high sides and pats from my colleagues, right? I'm doing it for the fans. I'm actually, you'll hear some people say that they're doing things for the fans, but I'm actually want to do things for the fans, right? I want to keep the cost low. I want to make the book accessible. I don't want to charge you $100 so you can have 30-minute access to it. I don't want to charge you $50 for me to sign it, right? If you get a physical and you're like, hey, I want you to sign it, right? Then I'd be like, okay, I'll sign it for free. For free. I'll throw my signature, my John Hancock on it. No problem. Free. Right? I don't think you should be nickeling and diming people for this shit, right?
You sound like a freaking commie to me.
I know. I don't want to have like 17 different covers, right? And foil. This one has a special aluminum foil cover. This one's got a scratch and sniff cover. Right? No, I just want to do the one cover and have a good story where you guys enjoy the story and go, hey, I'm going to come back. And I want to be able to produce it at a reasonable rate, right? Where it's not like, okay, I did one comic today and I'll see you guys in 2 years for your next comic. No, I want to be like one. That's why I want to do 28 pages. I want to try to get ahead, like the regular comic industry does, where they have like so many issues done ahead of time, right? And then I could go ahead and be like, okay, so boom, boom, we're releasing it once a month, twice a month, right? I know that's like a pipe dream. It sounds crazy, but
Quaker, yeah, like what Finbar said, he's doing it. We're holding him account, and he's actually leading the way for us. So we're having him do the first round of comics, and we're gonna follow suit. So yeah, he's gonna do it. And you should follow suit too with your little sci-fi horror books you want to do, because that would be fun criticizing each other's work. It really would be.
Jude DeBall says, I highly recommend you do a comic dub. I don't know what that means.
Maybe he meant a comic club.
Yeah, but
$199.
I mean, if you could, explain it, that'd be awesome. Red says, Tony says, Arriba los conejos. Yeah, like I said, I understand. I've been put into a weird position. We're owning our enemies for $1,227. I am a loudmouth. I am good at generating attention. I am good at inserting myself into situations that I should not be inserted into. Ask my ex-wife; she'll let you know. I insert my things in all sorts of places that I don't belong. But I don't know if that translates into people buying a product from me, right? We've seen with Eric July. He has huge audience, and not everybody bought, right? A small percentage bought. And again, I just want to tell a good story. I have a good story in mind. I think it's a good idea. I like what it is. I'm refining it. I don't want to release the first draft of it. I've actually gone back and said no. Like as I was going through it, I go, no, this doesn't sound good. It sounded good initially, but now I'm thinking about it, and here's why it doesn't work. Right? I'm critiquing myself and trying to get this. So it's a simple story, but also an enjoyable story, and the action is good. Like I said, I know how I want to start it. Like first, it's going to be a 2-page spread. First, you open the book and boom, you see he's kicking one guy. He's got his head turned, his tongue's flicking another guy, his hands are on the third guy. So you see all of his powers. He's going to have the little things like like he hits this guy with a super powered kick. That 12-foot tongue is slapping a dude, right? You're going to know. First 2 pages, you're going to know his powers. You're going to see him in action. It's going to be a nice fucking action scene. And then by page 5, we're going to, no, not even page, I think it's like page 3. The plan is to start the flashback to where he got his powers. So by the end of the first book, you'll see all of his powers. You'll know how he got it. You'll see him fight a couple of villains. And you'll still have a hook for why you want to come back for more. That's the plan. Within 28 pages. I think I can do that. What's the first name of your main character? I have not worked that out. His human identity, his civilian identity, as it were. I definitely know I want to do classic like a double letter thing, right? But this isn't like when Tony came up with the insane idea of trying to launch a video game console like a total idiot. This is a fairly simple in execution. This can and will happen. Yeah. Like I said, I have read comics for 30 plus years. I've critiqued media for 20 plus years. I've written stories. I've written dialogue for video games. I've been paid to write a movie script, a script for a animated series that never got released. So I have some experience in storytelling and stuff. It's always something that I wanted to pursue, but life sort of has a way of telling me not to do things. And when you have a family to take care of, you can't just go off and quit your job and pursue writing 24/7, right? I think now I am in a position where I am able to go ahead and set aside time to do this, to focus on this. I did reach out to an artist, and we are talking. I sent them the AI art, and I said, I want you to combine these 3 things in a certain way in order to make the main character, right? And so they're going to send me back some sketches and stuff, right? So we could perfect what the main character looks like. So I am taking steps. The steps are being taken to get this accomplished, right? So this is not a silly idea from me. It's actually a real thing. It was never my intention. Like I know we had Lunga. Lunga has attacked me on Twitter, saying that I've been sucking up to CG and EVS, and it was all because I've been planning to launch a comic book, like another YouTuber launching a comic book. No, that's never was the plan. It just sort of fell into my lap, right? I started critiquing Eric July. People liked what I had to say. People came around. We had an audience. Bigger people came around. And then people started saying, hey, you should do a book, right? How long since we've been covering this have people been saying this, Potion?
About a year now.
Yeah.
I
mean, every time I say, and it's not just the haters going, well, why don't you do your own comic? No, it's actually been people.
Yeah.
They go, hey, you sound like you have good ideas. You should do something. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm trying to do. So
I know a lot of people always want to say, put your money where your mouth is, or you can do better. I mean, here's a chance, I guess.
And again, I'm not planning to become a millionaire overnight. I'm not planning to be a millionaire ever off this. I'm
It's
planning.
kind of fun.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to tell a good story. I have a good story in mind. Like I said, I think it's a fun character. I think it's a fun story.
And I think a lot of people out there should start creating more stories and just don't doubt yourself. If you have something you want to do and create, just go with it. Who knows?
Like I said, I already have the uh, basic plot of the first issue. I'm working through the scripting it, and so I think it's gonna be good. There's small details like getting the name, because I think it's really important, right? Peter Parker, Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne.
They all sound like porn names to me.
Yeah, but they're iconic names, right? Like Billy McGee. If Spider-Man's real name was Billy McGee, it'd be like, no, it's a dumb fucking name, right?
No, I think it would have been
Some guy named Billy McGee's like typing furiously.
What's
My
up,
name is
Billy
great.
McGee?
Yeah. No, but I think like there's something about a name. The name has to like pop out and hit you, right? Like, yeah, that sounds like a superhero guy. That sounds like a dude. Alter ego names are super important. Yeah, exactly. Like they're just as important as the superhero name, right? If instead of Spider-Man, he was Arachnid Boy, would he be as iconic? Same story, same everything. He would just be like, kind of a dopey name, right? Like Super Guy. You'd be like, that doesn't sound as cool as Superman, right? Like dumb names like Avery Silman, yeah, exactly. Or Isom, Tits McGee, yeah. Could you imagine? Like, oh, my character's name is Tits McGee. So I want to nail those fucking like the little things, because I know even the little things matter. And I'm trying to avoid the cliche of the tragic backstory. Like every superhero has this like, oh no, my dad died or my mom died or Uncle Ben. Right? I want a happy character. I want a character that's happy to be a superhero, right? I think that's what's missing. Like, could you imagine? Like because in this world, it's going to be this world, right? It's going to be our world. It's not going to be a fictional universe. It's going to be this universe. But the difference is, remember the big Hadron Collider, right? Everyone was going, what's going to happen? It's going to open up a black hole. The world's going to end. They're going to do this big Hadron Collider where they're going to smash particles together. No one knew what was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So in the world, in this reality of my comic book, when this happened, when the particles smashed, they released primordial cosmic energy that has thus changed the rules of the world, allowing superheroes and magic and mystical creatures and all this stuff now exist suddenly, right? But we're like 5 years hence from that. So people have now settled in to a world with superheroes, right? And so our main character has grown up reading comic books, watching superhero films, right? But that never existed. That wasn't real. Now he's a superhero. Now he has superpowers. And so it's fucking cool. Like, right? I'm a superhero now. This is awesome. But over the course of the story, he's going to realize that it's not just about punching people in the face to be a hero, right? Being a hero doesn't just mean punching bad guys, and there's all the other shit that goes along with it. So it's going to be sort of a
great powers comes great responsibilities.
Something like that. Like I said, there's going to be no like, oh, Uncle Ben dead moment, right? It's going to be a different kind of coming to the realization that it's not just all fun and games, right? And that it's more than just being someone with powers. It's more. It's like a hero is who you are, right? Like, are you born a hero or do you become a hero, right?
According to you, you become one.
We'll find out.
Because you were telling me that I would change if I had more money.
Streams. So
that's that noise.
56K says, can you ask Saggy to temporarily make public the video where she calls me a god? I need the clip to cherish it forever.
She's going through a hard time right now, Mr. 56K warning.
Yeah, give it a few months and maybe I'll ask. Not right now. Not right now. So Finbar Saunders says, Can we have an update on your progress with the fabulous Frogman? Could we also have a brief story overview and hear some exclusive news about any other awesome characters that are going to be involved? Maybe an arch nemesis professor type with a fin on his head, perhaps. So, as I was saying earlier, the plot of the first issue is more or less set and done. Right, I'm working on the script. I'm working on getting the dialogue and some of the smaller details, but the overall idea is set in stone. We're going to start off with the splash page showing his powers, showing him stopping some just punks, robbing like a convenience store. Talks to the news lady, gives a little spiel, hops away. He's thinking about his life. That gives us the flashback to where he got his powers. And we get a, normal young man who's going to a museum. Goes to the museum. He sees two people running at him. Security guard yelling, "Stop those people!" He goes in to stop them. He's pushed aside by red, like Green Lantern type energy. Right? Gets knocked into a frog-shaped vase. The vase smashes on him. Green smoke envelops him, and thus he gains the powers of the frog. And then we have some other stuff. I don't want to spoil all of it, right? I don't want to give you the whole thing, but that's the basic premise of how he gets his powers. And then we show him use his powers for the first time. He meets Nightmare, right? We get that fight. Then we flash forward back to the present, in which he fights another villain, and then we wrap up the story for that issue. There will be, if you follow the channel, if you know people in the channel in and around the sphere, there's going to be obviously a lot of homages, right? I want to include certain things. I did think of a villain, an evil professor with a fin on his head, inspired by Finbar Saunders, of course. Potion hasn't heard this yet. This is exclusive. But I was thinking of a character based on Potion Sword Run.
Oh, my God.
And his power, right? You ready for this? He transforms into a pile of cats. He's like, "Don't worry, I got this." And like, you see him like start to transform into a cat. So you're like, "Oh, he's gonna be like a big werecat." And it's like
a bunch of different cats.
Yeah, it's just like 6 different cats.
A colony of cats.
Yeah, is that what it's called? With like, what's a group of cats called? Whatever that is. Yeah, it's gonna be a colony of cats. It's gonna be like one of those. Like what?
That'd be hilarious, dude. And they all have like they can all scratch different, individually, or one can be all sneaking up and in the catwalks.
It's going to be, like I said, there's going to be references. It's going to be done well enough where if you don't know the references, you still can follow the story. It's still going to be good to you. But the references will just be an enhancement. It'll be like seasoning, right? Like a little extra spice. Like I said, I hope it's good. I hope everything that I've said so far sounds good to people. If it doesn't, I mean, if you're watching this on replay, or if you're watching this now, or you want to leave a comment, be like, "Tony, that whole thing sounded stupid, and I think all of it is dumb, and just fucking stop." Like, I'm open to all that. I am very nervous, and I am very unsure, right? I don't think I'm the best. I don't think I'm the greatest. I know I have this cocky attitude where I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm fucking greatest. Fucking world's greatest everything," right? And I think I hope you guys realize some of it is just for show, right? So it's a little over the top. It's my little wrestling persona type. But like I said, if what I've said has interested you at all, I do hope that you come around when I talk more about it. I hope you leave comments. I I'm at the point where I want to discuss so much, but then at the same time, like, damn, I can't give everything away. I can just tell you the whole story right now, right? But yeah, hopefully, it works out. And like I said, I am interested. It is something that I have a passion for, and hopefully, we get the ball rolling before I OCD and ADD, ADHD, and autistic infatuation goes away. Because that is one of my problems, right? I get hyper focused on things, super hyper focused, and like that's the only thing that matters. And then, like that, it just goes away, and I'm focused on something else. And so I'm hoping I could ride this wave of hyper focus far enough that once we get it going, that we're done, right? Finbar thinks that my character, although a villain, will be a Magneto-type character with sympathetic motivations and has a chance for redemption. I will write the Finn #1 for the Geek Getawayverse comics. And we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to talk about it, Finbar. We'll definitely have to discuss that. But there's a follow-up question. It says, I understand Potion is also cooking something up in the indie comic sphere. Can we hear some details, please?
No, you cannot, Finbar. I've been kicking around these ideas for a while now. For my channel or for just like fun, I like do little cartoons. I've always been doing art growing up, like in my school, and that's kind of what I went to school for. Not for art, but like design and stuff, animation and crap and motion design, graphics, shit like that. But so I've always written stories and stuff. And I've had these two ideas that I've been kicking around, and I figured now was the time to actually like flesh them out and actually create something with them. So that's what I'm doing. They're still in the early stages though, so it ain't like I don't have any scenes yet with Tony. I just have the synopsis. I just have like the story, like the world that I'm basing it on. But I'm pretty much writing the stories right now, and so there ain't much to share. But I hope that after watching Tony go through the process, it'll make it a lot easier for me to do it, and it'll just be something like you said, something fun. I'm not trying to make it a career or anything like that. It's in the spirit of the stuff that I enjoy, and since I'm getting into comics now that I'm talking about them a lot more, it's just something fun to do. And before, the reason why I quit art, and a lot of people do quit art, is because they have like drawing for yourself is no fun, but if you're able to draw and create stories that people want to read, then hell yeah. So first, I'm gonna let Tony lead the way and see how hard or easy it is, and see if I can do a comic. And if a comic doesn't work out, then like I said, I always do little cartoons and stuff for my channel, and I can always make stories that way. But I just want people and more people to read and enjoy the stories that I come up with. But I do have two that I think are pretty good, and in the future, as more things come, then I'll be showing more as well.